Hello friends, I hope you all are fine. Well, I'm fine too. So today we are going to continue with the science chapter 1 biology series, and in last lecture we have studied about that how all the families makes order, how the orders come together and make class. Now today we are going to study about phylum. Okay. So what indeed is phylum? Now I don't think I should be like more descriptive about it. Why? Because I have told this multiple times that whatever is the upper taxon, okay, all the different kind of taxons who are closely related are going to make the higher taxon. Remember? Okay, and whenever you are going to go from species to kingdom, okay, the similarity of the characters are going to decrease. We have already talked about this thing multiple times. Okay, so let's start with the phylum. Okay, so what is phylum? Now you know this. Okay, if I say in a very, see, all the closely related classes, right? All the closely related class are going to put like together into the same phylum. For example, if we talk about chordates, okay, what is this? This is Homo sapiens, us, the self-obsessed people. Yes, okay, so we have talked about that this Homo sapiens is us, this is our genus, this was our family, this is the primates, which was our order, and this is what we call it as a mammals. We have talked about this, right? Now our phylum is called as chordates. Okay, either you can call it as a chordata. Okay, so it is called named as chordates, or you can call it as I say, chordata. Now, what was the characteristic? Okay, we've already talked about that all the closely related classes. Closely related on what basis? है ना? So, on the basis of the similar characteristic, right? Similar characteristic. Though obviously the similar characteristic, the similarity in that characteristic are going to be less similar than all the similarities here. Remember, here if it is like 60%, so here you are going to see only 50% of similarity. Arey bhai chalo na, 50% is there na, put them all together in same phylum, right? So the characters, okay, the similarity in the characters are going to be decreased. So in your chordata, what are the characteristics which you observe? Okay, so that characteristics are going to, which is presence of notochord. Now what is notochord? I'm going to talk about it in few minutes. Okay, presence of notochord and dorsal neural system. Most important question for this phylum. That on what basis, okay, you have created a phylum called as chordata. So this was the similar characteristic, or on this basis, on the presence of notochord and dorsal neural system, okay, or dorsal nervous system. On this kind of characteristic, if these are present in any animal, you are going to put all this animal into one phylum, and that is called as chordates. Right now we are talking about animals, right? Okay, so let's take an example. Of course, we are going to take example of chordata only because this is our phylum. Okay. Yeah, okay. Before that, we need to see the examples. Why I'm telling you examples first, so you are going to get that. Because we know this living beings like for years. Okay. And that is, see, this is the invertebrate ancestors. So, all of us have same ancestors who are going to have invertebrates. Okay. Like, at first they were invertebrates. Then what happened? See, these were the non-vertebrates chordates. Okay, so they did not have vertebrate column, but they have like chordates. There were no like bony thing. We are going to talk about what is notochord and neural system. Then comes this fishes. Then shark came. Then bony fish came. Okay. Then amphibians means those who can like stay in water and on land too. Okay, like frogs. Reptiles like snakes and all who do not like snake. Okay, they do not have actual hand or legs, so they just have to And then there is bird, okay, any bird you can take example, mammals, okay, any animal which includes us too, okay. All of these are going to have this notochord and dorsal neural system, and that is why we put all them together in phylum called as chordata. Clear? Okay, so now we are going to see what is actually notochord and dorsal neural. Ta-da! Here, can you see that? Okay, so see, this is quite a diagram of a fish, and you can see, okay, the very first one who have this notochord was fish, sorry. Okay, so what is notochord? Can you see this line here? Okay, the upper one is called as dorsal hollow nerve cord, the upper one, but the below, see here, that is what is called as notochord. Now what is it? Is something like spinal cord. We do have a spinal cord, right? So something like spinal cord, or you can say either having a proper spinal cord, which we have, the vertebrate column, we say it, right, or having something like this spinal cord. So this fishes started having this notochord, okay, which was kind of a, you can say, not a bony but cartilage at first, and then it becomes the very thick one, so we call it as a bony thing, okay, which kindly supports the whole body. Can you see, it supports the whole body, something very strong, right? Okay, then as you can see, exit like on the upper side of that, there is dorsal hollow nerve cord. See, dorsal because it is on the back side. On us also, vertebral column is like back side, okay. So what is this dorsal nerve neural system or cord? Okay, so it is like kind of filled with multiple, okay, filled with like many different nerve cells, or you can say nerve fibers. What that nerve fibers are going to do, see, that all nerve fibers, okay, nerve are going to come together and form a system which is called as neural system, right? So you know that this neural system, the whole system was not present at all the previous animals or whatever they have, like that was an evolution, okay. And after that there was like notochord and this dorsal hollow nerve cord, the whole neural system, okay. So all these nerve fibers are going to come together and form this system. Clear? So if someone have this and someone have this, other two characters are there, okay. These two are obviously the main characters of this picture, you can say, but there is side characters too, though the very important side characters, okay. This is called as pharyngeal slits. The organism have this pharyngeal slits, which for example in fishes they are going to have gills, right? Do we have this kind of thing? Do we have? I want you to think, okay. I'm going to answer this in few minutes. Okay, then there is post-anal tail. Why we call it as a post-anal tail? This is a fourth character. Post because it is on the posterior part of the whole body. Anal tail. Okay, this is a tail after anal. Okay, so post-anal. After the anal there is a tail, then it is called as post-anal for the movement and all. Okay, so all of these characters, if there are there, then you call it as a, you put all this organism in the phylum Chordata. Now back to this pharyngeal slits. Gills, for example, fishes do have this, okay. Do we have this? Yes, but when? So when you are just like baby, not even a baby, the unborn child, okay, in your mother's body, the human little embryo, at that point of time you had this pharyngeal slits. Yes, you do. But what happened that whenever you, like the baby comes to the world, this disappears, okay. So this disappears. So pharyngeal slits are present in us, but only in the like embryo, okay. So in human embryo, very important MCQ for NEET point of view also, okay. And then about post-anal tail, we do have that, remember, but then of course the evolution happened and that we do not have that now, okay. So this was the four characteristic which was very important, though this two are the main character, as I say, the notochord and the dorsal neural systems, okay. This chordata are further divided into three subphylum. Remember, this itself is a phylum and that is further divided into some subphylums. Okay, that some phylums are like kind of 3 subphylums. One is called as Urochordata, the another one is called as Cephalochordata, and then there are vertebrates. So, of course, you do not have to think about this much detail in this chapter. Of course, we are going to study about them, okay, in further. But what it the exact means, like a little summary if I give you about. Okay, so what would be the examples? So see, these are the 3 subphylum. What are these? These are the 3 subphylums of phylum Chordata. Okay, so very first one here is Urochordata. Okay, so they have this layer on them of tunicin chemical. Okay, so this the whole layer on their upper body is of tunicil. That is why they are also called as tunicata. Okay, the notochord here are present only in larval tails, only on the larval stage when they were very little larva, and only in the tail part, so only this region. Okay, not whole body. Clear? Now if you go for cephalochordata, the notochord is going to present head to tail. So it is present like head to tail. Okay, in whole body the notochord is present and whole life. Right, it is persistent. Like in adult also it is present. Okay, in adults also. And then there is our vertebrates, us. Okay, us. So most advanced, of course we are most advanced, right? Bony vertebratal column. Either we have this bony vertebratal column, if we talk about us the human, we have this bony vertebratal column, right? Vertebrate column. Or it could be cartilages. Okay, so cartilage is something, for example, some fish like shark and all are going to have this cartilages. What can you say? The skeleton. Okay, that is more of cartilages. Of course, then afterwards the evolution happened and then some bony fish came into the side. Okay, and then amphibians were there, then reptiles came, then birds, and then there are us who have this vertebrate column. Okay, if you remember, okay, let me just show you up. Okay, so as you can see, yes. Okay, this is what we call it as a vertebrate column. What? So this, right? So this is our vertebrate column. Of course, the birds and fish also have this. Okay, the amphibians, the reptiles. Okay, all of these are example of, for example, like who have this vertebrate column. Okay, so see, these are the subphylum. Of course, you do not have to write about them in much detail here, but this is for a neat point of view actually. This whole thing is very important. See, MCQs are very important from this topic. As I say, they are going to ask this as an MCQ for sure somewhere. Okay, and this is a very important MCQ in the case of NEET. Okay, so I hope you got the lecture. So now we have left, like we are left with only one taxon, which is the kingdom, the largest one. Okay, so which we are going to talk about in our next lecture. So I hope you got this lecture, very interesting one. Okay, and till then, stay tuned.